I'd like to call the October 9th Board of Education meeting to order. I would like to ask Ms. DeJuan Craft to lead us in our invocation.
Thank you. I'm reading from Puppies for Sale and Other Inspirational Tales by Dan Clark. Fear. In the movie Rocky III, Rocky had already lost his title to the vicious character Clubber Lang. Rocky was scheduled to fight the man again and was truly afraid. But his wife, Adrienne, talked to him through his fear. "You've never quit anything before. Why quit now?" she asked. "Because in all the other fights, my trainer made me feel I was better than I was." He answered, "It doesn't matter that I have the title. I don't believe in myself anymore. And when you don't believe in yourself, you're through, finished. For the first time in my life, I want to quit. I'm afraid too, but there's nothing wrong with being afraid," she said. "The important thing is to overcome your fear, or it will bother you the rest of your life. No matter how hard it might be, you've got to fight. I think you can do it, but you have to do it for yourself, for you alone. And if I lose, then you lose, but at least you lost with no excuses, with no fear. You lost with your head high, knowing you gave it your best shot, and no one ever needs to be ashamed of that, never. We all have things to do in life that are frightening, but if we give our best effort, there is never any reason to be ashamed." Once Rocky knew that, he pushed himself harder than ever before. He came back to beat the fear inside of him and Clubber Lang as well. So can you. We are born with two fears: the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. We learn the other fears we have: our fear of the dark, of the boogeyman, of the unknown, our fear of what others may think of us, our fear of taking tests, our fear of speaking in public. Fear is real, and we must deal with it or continually run and hide from it the rest of our lives. What will you do? Zig Ziglar defines fear as false evidence appearing real. Statistics validate this. 40% of our worries never happen. 30% are in the past and cannot be changed. 12% are needless, leaving a mere 8% that are real. For this reason, don't let fear make you an emotional hostage. Face that 8% immediately and continually. Instead of fearing the worst, expect the best. President Franklin D. Roosevelt did. Whether it was because he was undertaking the presidency during the depth of the Great Depression or because of his experiences as a wheelchair-bound person, he emphatically reminded us we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Thank you, Ms. Craft. I'd like to ask Ms. Brandy Kelly if she would come forward and lead us in the pledge.
Hi there, good afternoon. Thank you so much. I have with us two of our incredible Panther ambassadors for this year. So I'd like to introduce fifth graders Miller Mentier and William Sarnowski. If you'll come up and lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, we're pleased to be swearing in our new junior representative, Taylor McCarthy, tonight, and Ms. Josie Twyford, our assistant clerk to the Currituck County Superior Court, will assist us with that. And Taylor, if you have any family members or friends that you would like to have join you, please feel free.
Good.
Okay.
I, Taylor McCarthy, you do solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, so help you God. Taylor McCarthy, you do further solemnly and sincerely swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of the state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God.
I do.
You, Taylor McCarthy, will perform the duties of the student board member for Currituck County to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Gorgeous. It's from her mama. Yes. And her grandmother.
Congratulations, Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring Miss Brandy Kelly, our principal at Moyock Elementary, back up to the podium, and she will be sharing her school spotlight.
Thank you. Moyock Elementary School is known for our motto, which is learn, play, dream, grow, growing and inspiring Panther leaders, one leader at a time. So we have worked hard the last few weeks preparing a promotional video, I guess you can say, of learn, play, dream, grow, just that. So wanted you to check that out, and then we have a few words afterwards from a couple of our students. So that's a little bit about Moayak Elementary School, and I think it summarizes well the learn, play, dream, grow. That's what we are consistently striving to do. But that's not all. Of course, you know that Moayak is growing, and we are changing and moving every single day. So one of the things we also wanted to highlight was some of the changes and the pretty innovative things that we've started to do. So I'd like to introduce to you Miss Lily Watson and Sophie Friedrich, if they'll come on up.
Hi, my name is Lily. And I'm Sophia. We're going to talk to you about what we do as a part of Panther News Network, or PNN, at my elementary school. First, we film our video. There are 2 announcers, a script person, a camera person, and 2 editors, Sophia and me. It takes a little while to get a really good video, so we practice with the script before we start recording. We include important school announcements, fun facts, mystery landmarks, vocabulary words, birthday riddles, and the Pledge of Allegiance. This week we've started including the weather segment where our trivia winners get to guest star and announce the day's weather. Later in the day, we will take the recorded video and edit using the Doink and iMovie apps. We import the video into Doink and then add in a fun background from copyright-free photos. We also time out when the Pledge of Allegiance starts and add the flag background. We crop the video so it doesn't show any of the shelvings or objects in the background. Once we are happy with our editing, we export the movie to iMovie, and then we add our slides that have information about our PNN trivia challenges. Last we export the video so that we can upload it to the PNN site for our classmates to view the next morning. I enjoy editing the most because we get to be creative with the different backgrounds. I also like using iMovie to add in different theme songs, sound effects, and transition. I think PNN is important because it tells people about the day and what's going on in the school. It's also nice to celebrate people's birthdays as a school. I feel like editing the videos is the most important skill to have as an adult. I hope to have a small business one day and I think it will help to have already learned the skills needed to create my own advertisement for it. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
And now Melissa Reynolds, our assistant principal. She's going to wrap us up.
I just wanted to join Ms. Kelly in thanking you all for allowing us to share some of the activities that are happening at Moayak Elementary as we learn, play, dream, and grow. We look forward to seeing many of you when you visit us at MES throughout the school year and as invited guests to our future events. We'll be holding our annual Boosterthon Glow Run fundraiser in February to help grow our STEM learning lab. And we'll also have a family stream night in April to showcase the arts in addition to reading, math, science, and technology. So be on the lookout for more details about these and other events as we show off our Panther Pride. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Thanks again. All right, at this time, we need approval on the agenda. Do I have a motion that
So
we
moved.
approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Drive careful.
We have our public comment session. We have Mike Payment, our Currituck County Commissioner, here tonight, and he would like to speak.
Thank you all for allowing me to come up here tonight. Again, my name is Mike Payment. I live at 117 Barefoot Lane in Grandy. I'm actually up here tonight to talk about the CTE program as an employer and a little comment as a county commissioner. I would like to state that this summer I had the opportunity to work with Linda O'Neill in the CTE program. She inquired about an internship for me over the summertime, which I took on, and I was very enlightened to find out that, first of all, they put together a student folder. Gives the background on the student, everything about the student that I need to know about the student, which was very informative. And then I get another folder for my company, CT Mechanical. This is the student that worked with me. He's a senior this year. I was very impressed as an employer to find a high school student that was willing to do an internship in this field. Ended up, he worked very well. I couldn't have asked for a better employer. I couldn't even find an employer on the street with someone like that. I plan on, he's finishing his senior year in high school. He's taking COA courses right now, and he's planning on graduating this spring, and I plan on hiring full-time and compensating him well to start with. If this program continues to excel like this is exactly what these businesses in this county need. I just want to applaud, Mr. Monroe is back there, Linda O'Neill, anything involved with that CT program. I was more than impressed as an employer to know the detail, the background, the type of individuals they screen to get someone in this industry, whether it's plumbing, automotives, but I'm going to speak from a heating, air conditioning. I hope the school system can provide more employees like that. Number one, we're getting someone who's going to graduate and have a job when they graduate. They're going to stay in the county, which we've been preaching for a long time, and get a good salary. Again, I just can't ask for more than that. And PBS, and I'm going to take a few minutes and read a PBS did a nice article on the vocational technical grades or careers. This one, after decades of pushing bachelor degrees, the U.S. needs more tradespeople. It's a pretty safe bet. The skills being taught here are in high demand. That is in part because so much effort has been put into encouraging high school graduates to go to college for academic degrees rather than training in the industrial and other trades that many fields like this have a shortage of workers in. The federal figures show that only 8% of undergraduates are enrolled in certificate programs, which tend to be vocationally oriented. The United States has 30 million jobs that pay an average of $55,000 per year and don't require bachelor degrees. According to Georgetown Center, people with career and technical education are actually slightly more likely to be employed rather than their counterparts with academic credentials. The U.S. Department of Education reports are significantly more likely to be working in their fields of study. Skilled trades show among the highest potential among job categories. I mean, these are just a few things that they're touching. And another one that just hit me here is, the vocational courses in high school were seen as second class per some individuals. That it wasn't the top priority. It's often either vocational training or liberal arts that employers are looking for today. These are just some of what they reported in there. There's a lot about there that holds true. I mean, and here's another important fact out there. One widely cited analyst estimates that more than 2 million jobs will go unfilled by 2025 because of the shortage of vocational technical trades. There's a big demand out there. I'm glad that the school system is putting forth the effort in the CT program. And I'm going to speak as a county commissioner now. I sat on a board with Mr. Dobney, Renee Etheridge, Mr. Monroe, and some other individuals in the CT program, the school for a couple of years, and Mr. Stefanik as well. And we were talking about this and how to pull it together. And the commissioners were presented by Dr. Monroe about the CT program, and the commissioners funded $64,000 for a CT coordinator. We wanted to see how it was going, and I'm just speaking on behalf of one commissioner myself. I'm very proud and glad that we supported that program, and if this is going to continue like this, I don't see any reason why I would not support this, and even to help it even grow more in the school systems. This is what we were looking for. We were glad the funding went to establish this program. I would just ask that keep the program as it is. Don't make changes to it. Make it better. This is exactly what it was intended for, is to help a high school student that wasn't looking to go toward a four-year college or go any further, to get someone working with them at an early age to get the skills and training that they need, an internship to get them right out of high school working in a good paying career. Again, I would just ask that you keep this program the way it is, make it stronger. I do want to thank Linda O'Neill again. She has been fantastic to work with through this. I just want to come up here and give a report of how happy I am, both as an employer and as a commissioner, how the CTE program is really worked. And this is something we need a long time in this county. And if there's anything I can do as an employer or as one of the commissioners to keep this program going, I'm going to give all effort, and I want to commit that to the school board as well. So, again, thank you. Thank you, people involved with this. Keep it like it is. Don't change it. Let's keep this program going. This is what this county needs. So, again, thank you for your time. Yes.
I have a question. Did you work with your intern any on the early release Fridays, or did you just work with your intern during the summer?
No, actually, he is working with me on Fridays on his days off. He's still an employee of mine.
Right.
When he is out of college, his days off, he works on Fridays. He comes in, we chat a little bit about what he's learning. We talk, he asks me questions, I'll go over some things. We have a dialogue, and I kind of help him say, this is what you need to focus on. I'd like to see you do more than this. And we get a good rapport. His coordinator, I think Miss O'Neill, still communicates with him as well. And I've only told him when he graduates, we're going to sit down and talk well before that, so I can make sure he's well established as a full-time employee with benefits, staying in the county, and helping our community grow and my business grow. So, he's still working with me on Fridays. And if he can work more, I'll work him more.
That's great.
But his education, I told him, is far. He needs to get that done first, and I preached to him, get your education done first. It's important, and you can always, your job's going to be there.
Would you be receptive if we had students, just trying to let them explore, not necessarily be an intern, but just go out and look at some different careers like you? Would you be willing? Are you receptive to that on early release Fridays?
Absolutely, and I think that's important to our students. And I think that's one thing that we may have slacked over the years, is to letting the students see what's available out there. Give them some more opportunities to have some discussions, see what's available locally in the workforce, and good paying jobs. Like the study said, they're averaging $55,000 a year just starting with a technical degree. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of 2 and 4 year degrees that don't even start at that salary. So yeah, absolutely. Anything we can do for our youth, trying to keep in the county and help them grow is I'm behind that 100%. I always have been.
Thank you very much, Mr. Currituck.
So you're saying it was a good investment for the county?
I do. I believe for our students and our families and our citizens, I think it was a good investment with that program. I do believe that.
And from a commissioner standpoint, you'd probably be willing to invest more.
I'm going to do every part I can. I'm one of 7, but I would do support it. So, no, I do.
I just wanted to be clear. It sounded like you were saying that it was a good investment. You were getting a good return on the investment.
I believe as the taxpayers' dollars, putting that into that for that individual for that program, I believe it was a very sound and a good investment. That I believe, again, as one commissioner talking, I believe I see the return on investment.
I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we do support the trades.
Yes.
We've all talked about that.
Keep it as is. I mean, keep Linda focused on the CT program and Mr. Monroe, and I think we got a great program going.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Payment.
Thanks, Mr. Payment.
All right, student board member reports. Let's see. Mallory?
All right, so I'm going to start out with Moyock Elementary. October is always an exciting month in Panther Nation. This week is Fire Prevention Week, and our next door neighbor, the Moyock Fire Department, visited classrooms to discuss fire prevention and safety. We even have had a visit from Smokey the Bear. Later this month, we are celebrating Red Ribbon Week with a special focus on anti-bullying and the dangers of drugs and alcohol. Kindergarten will be having Letterland Day this week with our smallest Panthers dressing up as Letterland characters. We invite the community to come check out our annual Fall Festival being held Friday, October 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. This year's festival is jointly sponsored by the MES PTA and Primrose Academy, which is a new child care center opening up just over the border. Can't wait to see you there. From Jarvisburg, we have a lot of exciting events happening at JES this month. Our PTA, JAGS, exceeded sales expectations with their popcorn fundraiser. Sales were doubled what was anticipated. With the funds raised, they will continue to host a lot of events for our staff and students. Last week, we celebrated Custodians Day, honoring Terry Woodley and Monty Cartwright for all their hard work. Jarvisburg shines daily thanks to them. We had a bingo night event on Tuesday the 8th, in addition to an open house event for our newly hired kindergarten teacher. We are thrilled to add Kara Hart to the JES team. Book Fair is happening this week. Later this month, we will celebrate Bus Driver Week and Red Ribbon Week as well. That week, the Sheriff's Department will come speak to our 4th and 5th grade students about the importance of making good choices. We will also have daily themes for saying no to drugs. Lastly, our Title I night is on the 24th. It is the second annual event where students and their families can come enjoy a night of literacy tricks for treats. Afterwards, we will have trick-or-treating in the gym and a free pizza dinner for all in attendance, sponsored by Wise Guys Pizza. From Central Elementary hosted their Fall Learning Fair on October 3rd with over 220 in attendance. Central is collecting change for Ocracoke Elementary School throughout the month of October to help with the replacement of supplies that were lost during Hurricane Dorian. At the end of the month, we will celebrate Red Ribbon Spirit Week, which I'm finding is a tongue twister, Red Ribbon Week, as well as celebrate with our annual Halloween costume parade on October 31st at 9:30 in the morning. And from Shawboro hosted our annual football-themed Title I Parent Night. We had a great turnout of parents who came to learn about all the amazing things we are doing in our classrooms with students. On October 17th, Shawboro will host the AIG Duke Tip Night at 6 p.m. At the end of October, we will promote Red Ribbon Week with themed spirit days and community visitors to talk with students about staying drug-free. Thank you to all families who supported the SES Book Fair. A big thank you to Currituck kids for purchasing books from the book fair and then donating them to our library. And with that, I pass it on to Taylor.
Okay, so starting off with Griggs Elementary, they hosted their second annual Harry Potter night on Friday, October 4th, with an awesome turnout with over 300 attending. They would like to extend a huge thank you to the community for their support. They will have their first PBIS Reward Day on Friday, October 18th, and we celebrating Red Ribbon Week on October 28th through November 1st with their Halloween costume parade on October 31st. Next is Knott's Island Elementary. We have a lot of excitement on the island. On Monday of this week, we had the Knott's Island Fire Department come and visit our pre-K class, complete with lights and sirens, and discuss fire safety. The kids explored the vehicles, and they were even able to spray some water. Thursday, the Forest Service is coming to promote fire safety and will visit with each grade level. Our PTA Fall Festival is coming up on October 25th, and the students are having a penny war to choose which staff member has to kiss a donkey during the festival. Students have been putting coins and bills in the container of the staff member they most want to see smooch that donkey. We also have our first PBIS day scheduled for Halloween to celebrate our students who are doing the right things and working hard in the classroom. In addition, Red Ribbon Week is coming the last week of October, and we have some special events happening each day as we celebrate. Next, for Currituck County Middle, we have a lot happening this month at Currituck County Middle School. Beta inductions are taking place on the 8th of October at 6 p.m. We also have our first character education session on the 8th of October as well. Students are going to write thank you letters to American veterans as a celebration of Veterans Day in November. Our first school dance is scheduled for the 25th of October. The PBIS committee is sponsoring it as a back-to-school masquerade dance. This will be a kickoff to our Spirit Week. We are also working on hosting a haunted walk during this event. Spirit Week starts the week of the 28th and will be capped off with a pep rally. And with that, I pass it on to Olivia.
I will start with Moyock Middle. We are ready for an eventful October. Operation Dog Whistle has been a complete success. We have revamped our social media presence with a new Instagram and Twitter account that are linked with our Facebook page for instant updates. We are also using Sunday Shoutout Week in preview with Bright Arrow to keep parents informed. Student agendas have been ordered and should be in students' hands by next week to facilitate better home/school communication and to teach students how to plan and use date book to improve their attention to deadlines and due dates. Our hope is to have them trained by their freshman year to be able to maintain their own time in a thoughtful and productive manner. We have a book fair October 17th through 22nd, and our Red Ribbon Week activities will span October 28th through November 1st in conjunction with NCDPI's Kindness Initiative. We will welcome OBX Lizards to 6th grade science for our first annual Repticon reception. The Moyoc Facebook page is always interested in snake identification, so we thought we'd add some budding herpetologists to the area. For JP Knapp Early College, October is Countdown to College Month at JP Knapp, and we have a lot of exciting events planned. The following is just a bit of information about a few. Check out the JP Knapp website for additional information. Wednesday, October 9th, FAFSA night in JP Knapp Computer Lab, where parents can get hands-on assistance from Miss Boone completing the FAFSA and NC residency determination. October 14th through 18th, JP Knapp Countdown to College Week, information, applications, and admissions focus for 12th through 13th students. In addition, the administration will host college informational sessions on October 15th for students in grades 11th through 13th. We will do college facts and door prizes for students all week. October 16th, PSAT for all 11th graders in participation in National Merit Scholarships Program. October 18th, NC Wesleyan visit admissions representative to visit JP Knapp and COA College to UNCW. JP Knapp students are invited to attend, and Ms. Fallon will be on UNCW campus for student tour. College Application Blitz Week. Media Center open for students and assistants provided with college applications, fee waivers, and essays. October 22nd and 28th, college fairs for JP Knapp students at CCHS and COA. October 25th, COA college visit to ECSU, and JP Knapp representative will be on the ECSU campus. October 30th, pre-ACT for all 10th graders. Lastly, it's job shadowing time for all 10th grade students at JP Knapp. Job shadowing is scheduled for October 23rd. They are currently networking and making plans to job shadow with various community businesses. We welcome community participation and thank those that are willing to work with our students. JP Knapp Beta Drive, Blood Drive, October 15th from 10:30 to 3:30. Please come up and donate. And lastly, Currituck County High. Lots of great things going on at the castle as we welcome autumn. As we speak, we are in the midst of Homecoming Spirit Week, which culminates in our annual fall prep rally and our battle with Pasquotank on the Gridiron Friday, followed by the traditional homecoming dance Saturday evening. This weekend, we look forward to seeing many past graduates return to their alma mater and crowning our homecoming queen and king. This week, we have enjoyed Jersey Day, Western Day, Character Day, Rock and Roll Day, and Wear Your Red Day. In continuing efforts to promote college and career readiness, a number of events designed to help inform that process are in the offing as of October's Countdown to College Month. They include the rendering of the PSAT on October 16th and FAFSA night that evening, where we will be joined by the Director of Financial Aid at Elizabeth City State. Additionally, a representative from North Carolina Wesleyan will join us for on-site admissions on October 17th. College Week continues the week of October 21st. Our inaugural cohort pursuing the Advanced Placement Capstone Diploma is progressing nicely under the tutelage of teacher Brendan Walls. In short order, these students will begin conducting their own study series as a prelude to the developmental of additional original research. Later this month and into October, with your kind support, our students let the world become their classroom as they attend the National FFA Conference in Indianapolis and the FBLA National Fall Leadership Training in Washington, D.C. A banner fall sports and interscholastic season continues, with playoffs beginning in tennis yesterday. We look forward to sharing additional successes in the coming weeks. Our fall musical and choral concerts are forthcoming, and our band brought home a coveted silver medal from the annual Edenton Peanut Festival competition this past weekend. It was our joy to recently honor the 13th anniversary of Currituck's storied 1989 football season, which led all the way to the Group A championship in Swain County. Even Wavy TV 10 joined us in the celebration and gave us some wonderful coverage on September 27th.
Thank you very much. There's a lot happening. All right, field trip request, Superintendent Stefanik.
Thank you, Chairman Etheridge. Just one comment. I think the Red Ribbon Week folks should probably get in touch with the speech development folks and maybe do a co-week. Yeah, try to get a pause
Bless
between
you.
the two words and get them out without tongue twisting. So.
Bless you.
Some of the field trips have already been mentioned in some of the student reports, but we have a lot of our student leaders participating in national events, and as you'll see, it's all during the same week. So it must be Student Leadership Week. Right around Halloween. So we have FFA National Convention in Indianapolis, October 29th through November the 2nd. Beta Leadership Summit in Williamsburg, October 31st to November 1st, and we have a tri-school FBLA National Fall Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. We have FBLA chapters at the high school, J.P. Knapp, and Moyac Middle School.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
How come we don't have an FBLA at Currituck Middle?
Good question.
I mean, do we offer the business class as an elective there?
We have different CTE programs there.
And I can't speak to this year, but Mrs. Weeks, Paul Weeks, was getting that off. I thought she had that up and running. So.
She has developed and building that as we speak. Right now, she has 5 to 6 students in that's being built.
I see.
Ms. Taylor?
When I was Eastern Region Vice President, me and Ms. West were both talking with Currituck County, and we were trying to get them started and everything. And I don't know if it ever just never fell through, but if we want one there, I'd be more than happy to just go over to the middle school and
get it
try
going.
to initiate that. Yeah.
She's the president.
She is, yeah.
It would be wonderful, Taylor, if you would take that on and work with some of our coordinators to make it happen.
Get some of the kids there interested if there's only 5.
Yeah, and then we'd have it in all of our secondary schools. For those in the audience who don't know, we're very privileged that Taylor is the state FBLA president currently, and so if she says that she can get a program started in a school, I think she has the office to make that happen. So she can get that started for us.
That's
And
great.
it was never anything to as a disrespectful nature to Currituck Middle School.
Right.
I think Moyac Middle School just began a couple of years ago itself, so it's a growing program, and so we're glad to bring CCMS on board as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. All right, second reading and adoption of Policy 7100, recruitment and selection of personnel.
Yep, just a continuation of what we discussed at the work session. You selected the criteria that you want to have for the additional information for hiring recommendations, and I place it to the board for a second reading, and so you just need a motion to take action, and we'll revise the policy and put it into action.
I make a motion that we adopt what we discussed at the work session for this policy.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We need action on our consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Board member comments and superintendent comments. I would like to ask Mr. Currituck to let us know his comments.
Okay. Well, I would like to congratulate Miss Taylor McCarthy.
We already lost her.
She
The volleyball game, that starts at 5:15.
got a lot going on.
Yes.
But anyhow, as being sworn in as a board member. Anyhow, I would also like to talk about, well, I would like us as a board to get a, not a work session, but a work retreat, but not really a retreat. Maybe it could be in, this space or any space, and I'd like us to spend some time figuring out a couple goals for the district, and then I would like us to take those goals. Hopefully there's only a couple, or maybe 3 or 2 or what have you, and I'd like us to take them around to the other schools and potentially to the public and see if we could have a common vision and then orchestrate a plan as to how we'll get there and achieve those goals. And so I'd ask that Mr. Stepanek figure out how we can coordinate those activities, and obviously they're not going to happen overnight, but I'd really like to get that moving along. I attended quite a few Parks and Rec soccer games, some in some pretty foul weather as of last night, and and with that, I've been very pleased with some of the progress that we have been hearing about, particularly from Dr. Lutz. Not exactly where I'd like us to be, but it is moving forward, and so we cannot, deny that. We just I personally would like to see some of it moving a little faster, but things don't always happen the way you want it. But I still want to say I thank you for what you've done and bringing all the elementary schools together to learn the same math and English. I think is very important. And with that, I'd like to say God bless Currituck County, and thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kraft?
Yes, first of all, I would like to say that Dr. Dobney asked me to tell you that he had an early morning appointment at Duke Medical and that he had to drive to Durham tonight, so that's why he left early. And I visited all our schools this month, but I want to focus on one thing. I want to give a great big round of kudos to our Currituck High School football team and their coaches. I attended the celebration in September that was mentioned earlier, and that was really nice. But what I want to talk about is Nikki Broom sent a text to, I got this secondhand, third hand even, and anyway, I called her this morning and ask her if I could share it with you, so I'd just like to read it. I want to say that Nikki, Columbia High School was where Nikki graduated from. So Columbia Wildcats on Channel 10 Friday night football wrap-up, but only because they played the Currituck Knights. From what I gather from the kids, the Knights played with class, considering they were playing a very small school whose team had just 13 players and didn't act like they'd won the Super Bowl when they won 48-0. I know some schools that should be taking notes, but anyway, Currituck Columbia game starts around 7:55 on the video, so she was talking about a video. So she had gotten a message from a friend of hers who said her son was one of the players for Columbia High School. She also told me privately that Colin had gone into the game dreading it because he knew they would get annihilated and one of their players got suspended at the last minute. But when he came home, he told her he actually enjoyed playing because the Currituck guys were such good sportsmen. We all know we have a great group of kids, but sometimes it's nice to hear it from people on the outside too. And Nikki writes, I graduated from Columbia, and we were tiny back then, too, although the year she graduated, they were conference champs. So I appreciate how good they were treated last night. Thanks for running such a good program, gentlemen. You are the best. So I have to say this speaks volumes for our students, our athletes, but that came from the coaches, too. And I have spoken with most of them personally to tell them how proud I am of their players and also them. So that's my big deal tonight.
All right. Thank you. That's nice to hear. All right. Ms. Rose?
Well, we heard mention tonight of a couple of fall festivals coming up, so I hope that everyone will support our schools as they have these events, and not just the parents, but citizens of Currituck. You're always welcome in our schools and at the fall athletic events as well. We've got homecoming coming up this Friday. I want to give a shout out to all of our hardworking folks and to our volunteers. Anyone can be a volunteer, not just parents. We need citizens too. So come on out and help our students. And a special shout out to our businesses. We heard from one this evening who is helping our students to grow within our system. And we appreciate all they do, whether it's making donations, giving their time, but without our businesses and our volunteers, we wouldn't be the wonderful school system we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent Stefanik.
Thank you, Chairman Etheridge. Follow up on what Ms. Kraft said. This Friday, and I won't steal their thunder, but although it's our homecoming night, the football program and the athletic department is well aware of the tragedy that hit Pasquotank High School. They had their quarterback killed in a car accident late in the summer, and so they're aware that while we're celebrating homecoming and we got a big, celebration, they're aware that the team they're playing Friday is going through a tough time. So they're again speaks about their character. There is a competition, but it's about the people involved and taking care of the kids on both sides of the football. And so our team is aware of that. If it pleases the board, I'd like to take this piece to pick up the last item from the work session, if it's okay with you, and we'll make it a brief presentation. We've been investigating costs for mobile units. And as we heard today, the Moayak Elementary School is growing, and we've done some research, and I'll bring Matt, you back there. Yeah, you want to come up to the stand? He's got some actual figures, but what I want to discuss, in addition to the amounts of money that we'll talk about for the mobile units, Matt's been up to Moayak Elementary School, and as luck would have it, one of the pictures that was just in the video of the Girl Scouts painting the blacktop might be one of the best areas to put the mobile units when that time comes. And so that's tough to even say, but I've already kind of mentioned that to Principal Kelly and said, it might be on the lookout for another piece of blacktop, and maybe the Girl Scouts can come back and just redo the painting job someplace else. So without further ado, I'll let Matt talk about what he's found out about prices. Had a comment from a board member, a question. We haven't done an official bid or quote process for this. We just knew of a regional mobile unit company for classrooms, and so we just have these amounts. We'll actually go out for official bids and quotes when we get to the point where we need them, the mobile units, and then make the purchases.
Okay.
Matt?
Okay. Over the last 3 years, I've been getting emails from this company, Vanguard. That's why I went to them first, because we needed some answers fast, just as a preliminary. This past week, I met with the health department because I know that there's a potential, depending on where we can locate these mobile units, that we are going to have to hook up to our septic system. So I wanted to see if that was feasible. He said that the septic system was large enough to handle the capacity of 2 more restrooms. It's basically based on the ADM of the school. Mm-hmm. So we're good with that. The other thing that we stood in the areas where the mobile units used to be. And he said, basically, Matt, the one on the north end of the school is going to cost you an arm and a leg to pump the septic from the mobile units around the school to the actual septic system. He said that's just not the right way to do it. Yeah. The other location in the southern end of the school, he said that would be a location except for one thing. He said these new mobile units are larger, so I would not recommend that you back the trailer up into the grassy area over top of your system that exists now, because you could end up with more damage and have to repair it. Mm-hmm. He said, my suggestion, based on our us standing here in this area right now is the location that Mr. Stefanik mentioned. And one of my bus drivers helped paint that this summer, so I'm sure that they could repaint it somewhere else, and there's more asphalt there to work with. The initial numbers that we received from Vanguard was that a standard mobile unit of 2 rooms, and the size being 23 by 60, would be roughly $50,000 with a $24,000 setup cost. And we asked for some information on lease to own and lease to purchase options. And which one do you want me to speak to, Mr. Stefanik? The 5-year plan?
Yeah, just go 60 months.
Okay, 60 months lease to own with a $1 purchase fee at the end would be $1,190 per month for 60 months, and we pay them $1 at the end to purchase. And that would be, actually, I'm sorry, that would be the unit without a restroom. The units with a restroom would be $81,000 with a $24,000 setup fee, and the 60-year lease to purchase with a $1 buy option would be $1,927 per month. Now those numbers don't include the setup fee.
Yeah, 60 months is cheaper than 60 years.
Yeah,
we don't want to pay for 60 years.
Yeah,
I know.
It's been a long week, but anyway, yeah, 60 years would be pretty rough. But anyway, it's $1,927 a month for 60 months with a $1 purchase price. Those numbers don't include the $24,000 setup cost. We decided that, just in conversation, that it'd probably be smarter to pay that up front and just put the lease towards the unit itself. Did some measuring while I was up there with the health department, and if the county were to allow us to place the mobile units on the pad that we're talking about, that the Girl Scouts painted on, it's a possibility that the distance from the front doors of the mobile units to a restroom inside the school, which has to be less than 200 feet, we would possibly be able to go without purchasing the restroom option. It's about 150 feet from door to restroom.
Is it where the tennis court was?
It's where the larger playground is.
Behind the school.
The gym.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we were allowed to place it there, we could possibly go without the restroom option if that's what you chose to do, based on the stepping it off or actually measuring it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. You've got options here of just mobile units, which is the history, if you will, of mobile units. But there's a new piece in there that says if you're more than 200 feet from a restroom, and at least if you're talking about being close to the old part of the school, the girls' restrooms are on one side of the school, right, and the boys' restrooms on the other. So, like, nowhere is within 200 feet of one of the genders, of the bathrooms. So then these new units, when Matt was giving you those numbers, that's 2 classrooms in each unit.
Yes.
And it's either with bathrooms or without bathrooms. And all I would say about that would be it's an elementary school, and elementary kids go to the bathroom quite a bit. So just think before you make a final decision on what direction we would like to go as to whether or not they're going to travel outside to get to a restroom in another building, or whether the restrooms would be part of the mobile
So the
classroom.
closest restrooms would be the ones down there by the library, if
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
talking about where
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
talking about. Yeah, okay.
Through the side glass door and
Right,
to
through
the
the
restroom to the right.
Or that back door, either one.
Yes.
So with the restrooms, there's going to be an extra cost if we did that, just to hook up to the septic system. But based on the fact that we wouldn't have to have a holding tank or a pumping station, we could do a gravity feed potentially and not be that much more expensive. It's not that far away to the actual tank that's there.
When you talk about setup, are you talking about hooking onto the sewer, hooking onto electric?
Setup for this company is we bring it in, we anchor it, we put it on blocks or whatever the county requires. Now, then we would have to tie in the electrical And if we did the restroom option, we would have to tie in water and sewer.
That seems like a lot of money to set it up.
I know, and that's what
It's-
I was
it's-
thinking.
it's-
We're buying it, and then we're going to be looking at moving them at some point.
Yeah. Now, local, I would assume that if we move them and we own them, we could hire a local company to relocate
Okay,
them for
yeah.
us. This is hauling it from wherever their factory is to the site and setting it up.
Okay, yeah.
That seemed like when you go into like a bid or a quote process,
Seems
that
like
kind of thing is what you're going to look at.
Will, are you thinking about getting yourself certified to do that?
I mean, how many mobile units you think we're going to need, Matt?
But based on the site up there and what the inspector was saying about, what the ground can handle, we think that, the site can only handle 2 of those units, which would be 4 classrooms and 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Do we know, you don't know how far away they're coming with that by chance, do you?
I don't. I would have to look in. It was a quick throwing this together. I don't
got
know
you.
where they're actually from.
Yeah, I think,
They're from Knightdale, North Carolina, so that's not that far.
Raleigh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not
so
that far.
my question then becomes, if we do decide to go with our product, is it one of those deals where you have to have them
deliver it?
transport it and dry stack the blocks and put the wind ties down? Because
I would venture to guess that if they own it for the first 5 years, they have a vested
They're gonna
interest in it.
wanna
They're
make
gonna
sure
want
it's
to
set
do
up
the setup.
safely, yeah.
But that's one of the lease options. If you go to the purchase, you
Right.
might have
You
some more
could purchase
flexibility.
it.
Well, that's true.
Then you
Yeah.
I'd probably get a quote from
If
like
you
Ray's
purchase
or
it,
somebody
then,
locally
yeah.
to go get it.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so we got a starting point. I'm not sure how that interest works out. I tried to pull it up on my phone while we're talking, but all I could get was a 10-year.
Yeah, it's shy. It's just shy of $100,000 over 5 years, and I believe. I think. Would you say the one with the bathrooms? They're about 1,800.
But I'm saying, if you
1927.
do their 5-year
Are you
payment,
talking about the original
comes out
pricing
to,
we looked at?
comes
Yeah.
out to 115.
What's their
84
interest
purchase
rate?
price. I'd have to.
For
Matt,
eight,
do
for
you know that?
84,000, it ends up being 115.
So it's over the course of 5 years, what, 30, 20, what is it, 20, 31?
Do you know what their interest rate is?
No. No.
Is it 41,000?
We need to get the terms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was trying to figure that out, but I could only pull up a
Yeah.
10-year.
Well,
Because
We'll
we
get
might
there.
be able to get a better
These
interest rate.
realtors might be able to pull up one of their little special calculators.
Well, if you go with an average rate of, say, 4.5%, 5% per 100,000, you're looking at, probably $500 a month in interest.
Over 5 years?
Just interest.
Over 5 years?
Well, that's if you amortized it for like 30.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I was trying to pull it up
Pull
on
it
a
up for
5-year
five,
term.
yeah.
Shortest one I could get on my
Well,
phone was 10.
same thing. It'd be still the same amount monthly.
I didn't bring the numbers for just the payment plan, but it was $1,800 a month for the $82,000 one,
Yeah.
without the lease to buy option.
Okay.
I think it's going to be closer.
But that's just one company.
That's one company.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
the
we're
other-
not,
Well-
we can actually, if you decide that, you want to say go, then we can put it out there and say, we're looking for quotes on this, and then find out exactly, what different companies, have to offer, and then have comparisons. But
I
I
think-
guess instead of investigating everything, are you more interested in the ones with restrooms or without restrooms?
The elementary.
with
I would think
restrooms.
the little
I
ones
think
would need a restroom.
because otherwise I think we'd have to build some kind of canopy or something to at least,
That was mentioned.
And
Yeah.
now, with the way our doors are locked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you'd
don't
have
wanna
to
get
take an
unlocked
adult or line up your whole
Adult.
class every time a child needs
yeah,
to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have one restroom that serves for both classrooms, or does it have?
We have two
like
the two classrooms would, and
Share
they would
one
have-
rest-
they would have a vestibule with a male and female restroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one restroom for both classes. So you're only talking about 2 restrooms.
Yes.
And Mark, you said when we get ready, it's time. I
think it's
I
time.
think it's time. I think we should go on and get all the prices and be ready to pull
we
the
need to-
trigger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we need.
Yeah, to put it
we-
in place.
This is the
if
beginning. I
needed.
mean, I'll start getting other quotes now. I mean, because we know it's coming.
So it would be
It's
feasible
coming.
that could happen before the school year's over.
Well,
No, you don't think so?
I wouldn't bet on that, no.
Okay.
I would say probably looking at, next summer to, get them all set up and then
And be ready
ready
for
for next fall.
20,
Yeah.
21,
How long
okay.
does it take?
to set them up?
I don't know. Did they give you any timeline as to if you called?
Like
them
if we ordered
and
today?
wanted to buy
They,
them? I don't know.
they gave, the guy was throwing the numbers together because I wanted it for the last meeting before, and we didn't talk about it, but he didn't say, their company's big push is we have used and new. So he was trying to say, I have used ones coming available right now, but you're not going to save that much money on the used ones based on what he was showing me, so.
We've already got some used ones.
Yeah, we have very used, well used.
Making it all
Trade, that's right, yeah,
used
yeah.
ones in.
Yeah, trade in and see if we get anything.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe we get that $10,000 that they told us we could get in the audit.
We give them all those used ones for the setup
Good
fee.
luck on that.
Yeah.
All right, I think we need to go ahead and get our bidding on the ones with the bathrooms, and then I think we need to expedite it, and then I think we need to see if somebody wants to help us out with any capital money.
Yeah.
Well, that's where this was going, you know, and Mike, you can share this if you want to, you know, wanted to find out what types of mobile unit the board was most interested in, and then I was going to have a conversation with the county manager about.
I think it has to be the bathrooms.
It does. If it were, you know, a different school, but for the little ones, I would like to have a restroom.
I totally agree. I agree.
Well, even, and I know we probably don't need any at the high school, but even that is a big deal when they have to go to the bathroom from the Spanish trailer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it is. So I think bathrooms are good for any age level.
Right.
I did go out today and measure that pad in case that's where we can put it, and it's 60 by 95. So I believe if we have 12 feet of spread, they'll probably allow us to accommodate those two, but I'll have to look into it with the planning department.
Okay.
If not, we could put one there and one somewhere else.
Yeah. And again, my approach with the county manager and eventually the commissioners is that we'd like this to be a separate capital outlay request from our annual capital outlay that we get, because this is a unique.
Yeah.
You know, we don't look to get these every year,
Right.
and so it's something unique. And so we're going to see if we can get a separate allocation for the mobile units, and then our capital outlay request would be something the same process as it is in the spring.
That's right.
Well, this is a direct result of growth.
Right. Oh, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, if we could expedite this process, I'd be in favor of that. As soon as we can get other estimates, pricing, terms, I'd love to get the terms, you know, whether it be the duration of the loan, the interest rate, and all of those, so that we can go ahead and move forward with.
And we'll have to double check on what type of process we have to do for this. If it's just if they consider it to be a purchase, you know, of an item, then it might not have to be as formal as, you know, like the process is going to be for the companies that end up building, you know, the new elementary school. But we'll have to check policy and see what we have to do.
I'll need to talk to DPI planning department and see if they
We'd
need
like to know
anything
if
from
we
me.
are allowed to freight them and set them up ourselves, though. 'cause that
Oh, sure.
costs-
That's all part of the vetting process.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they put that in there, and then we say, do we have to go with you if we lease or if we buy? And then that's part of the decision-making
That'll make a
process,
big
I think.
difference, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you,
Matt.
Mr. Mullins.
Matt, Mr. Mullins, I have one question before you sit down about the greenhouse project. We got an email this morning from Mr. Monroe about it, but just wondered if you had anything to share about permits or any of that.
Right now, we got the contract signed, we got the PO created, generated the PO, sent it off to Atlas. Atlas, about a week after I sent them the PO number, sent me back the same bid and said, I need you and the whoever else to initial that this is exactly what you want. So Mr. Monroe and I sat down and initialed everything, found a little bit of a glitch where they required 55 PSI of water pressure to run the irrigation system in there, and it's kind of hard to get 55 PSI out of standard well pump or county water. So I questioned that. They got back with me yesterday and said that there are ways around it, and if you have larger plumbing, like 3/4 or 1-inch pipe versus 1/2 inch, then you can get the volume you need with lesser PSI, which is understandable. So that's no problem. So I said, okay, now that you've answered this question, where are the plans in the process? He said, I'll have you a set of preliminary plans by Friday. to review, and then once you send back, yes, these plans are okay, he said I can have the stamped sealed documents by next Thursday or Friday. I have started the DPI plan review paperwork. I already have it on my desk, so when the plans come, I can send that off and try to get that started. And
that
while
usually-
that's gone, I'll come back and get the county planning information ready so I can submit that as soon as the DPI says yes. I've gotten a quote on the electrical, and I'm meeting the plumber tomorrow to get a quote on water and gas hookup. So after that, we'll start, I've gotten a quote on moving the trailers too, because we have to move 2 trailers, relocate
Right.
them on the site. So I'm waiting, once they say go, we'll move the trailers and start the landscaping process and all the site work.
Sounds like it's moving forward,
Moving,
and
it's
we'll
just-
be ready for Atlas when they're ready to come.
I think so.
Yeah, good.
They're saying right now, unless there's another opening mid-January for their groundbreaking. So I'll have the paperwork ready by then.
Well, thank you for going as quickly as you are, just in case they do have an opening, we'll be ready.
No problem.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen.
And I was going to answer Will's question before, but I thought the answer would go across poorly. But Will said, how long does this process take? And I was going to say, because it's a temporary structure, it'll probably be faster than what they're going through at the greenhouse. But I didn't want it to come across as a bad Jerry Seinfeld joke that it's going to be a little bit done faster in the greenhouse. I didn't want that to come across that way, so I didn't say it. But I think that
Because of the temporary permanent that.
right, I think they have. As Matt said, used and new, they have them ready to be hooked up to a cab and brought over, and done. And I think that's a little bit speedier of a process than trying to create the whole greenhouse
Hooked up
project.
over Christmas vacation.
All right, thank you.
With that being said, here's some updates. There was a request for numbers, what the school district looked like on the first day of school and what the school district looks like. The request was for yesterday, but I gave you today. So we got electronic numbers, and so you have very current numbers. As you can see, 6 out of our 10 schools actually have increased student numbers in the double digits in the first month or month and a half of school. Aside from JP Knapp, you've been in school longer than that, but it is what it is. All right. And then, we had one school hold firm with the exact same number since the first day of school, and one school went down in, just by one student. But I think it's significant that, you've got growth a lot of places. 6 out of the 10 schools, with 10 or more new students in the first month. Typically, that won't continue. Again, we'll monitor the north end and see if we have a unique year. But typically in September, whether you have a lot of new building or not, late summer is moving time. And so people come from one school district to another and they're moving around. So that, coupled with all the new construction, I think that's why you're seeing the numbers at elementary level, middle school, and high school.
Looking at these numbers, like Moyock Elementary has gained enough students, really like a whole classroom. Now, I know they're not all in the same grade.
Right.
But 16 kids, and Jarvisburg's right behind them. Now, looking at these numbers with JP Knapp allows 80 students per, do you allow 80 freshmen?
75.
Kids can't transfer into that throughout the school year.
So I guess we could have 320 or so if we had 80 in each grade.
You can't have more than 350 the way the school charter's set up.
And then we do the 5th year,
We have to leave some room for 5th years based on individual student plans.
but we only have 266. I wonder why we don't have closer to 320.
I can't answer that for you right now. One of the things that we looked at,
They must be leaving us.
some of them are leaving to go to high school.
Okay.
They try the college thing and they're not successful, or they don't like it, or they want to play sports, different things. And that's one of the, we've been collecting some data on that and talking with our school recruiters about sort of attacking that issue to find out why that's happening. We have too, that we look at the payments from some of our students who are military.
Right.
So we have to include that in as well.
I just wonder, I know one of our concerns was the large numbers we're at now with the high school. I wonder if we should start taking a few more students at NAP.
What I was going to say is typically what we do is we look to have 75, but we have that number, and invite maybe more than that to attend with the freshman class. And then at that point, it's up to the students to decide if they want to attend or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And so some of them decline.
How many do you usually invite?
About 85.
85.
Right now, their 4-year senior class is small. And so, over the years since they took in the initial 75 to 80, things have happened over the last 3 or 4 years, and it's a small group right now. Yeah, they're in the mid 60s, I think, of that grade level.
Okay. I can tell you too, because of changes at COA and the portions that they allow students to take, they've gotten a lot tighter on that. I don't see a lot of kids staying for 50 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fallon. Any other questions, discussion? Okay, we have our work session that's scheduled for November 7th at the Knapp Professional Learning Center at 4 p.m. Then we have our Board of Education meeting next month, November 7th, also here at the Historic County Courthouse at 6:30. I would like to thank all of our faculty and staff for doing such a great job. Everybody seems to be working a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on to make our schools successful. Congratulations to Taylor McCarthy as our new student board member. And then I'd like to remind everyone this Friday night we have our homecoming at Currituck County High School. Come out and support the Knights. And I would like to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.